Welcome, Black Hollywood Life fans. On today's Fit Club, we talk adolescent health, the Keto Cure, and more with Pizza Girl founder Caroline D'Amore. Stay tuned.
You're tuned into Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Tune in right now.
Welcome, Fit Clubbers. We are back. I'm your host, Shaka Smith, joined by my lovely co-host, Miss Candy Marie.
Hey guys, good to be back, Shaka.
Yeah, I recognize you from Miss Queen Sugar hosting that together. That was fun.
I always love hosting with Shaka, guys. He's so great.
Same here, same here. But we have Mrs. Caroline D'Amore, a Pizza Girl.
Yes! Woo! Thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us.
Honored to be here.
And of course, like, pizza's my favorite dish. So
love it.
Anyone that makes their own pizza sauce, welcome here at the Fit Club.
I'm a fan.
I wonder about people who don't like pizza.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
Who are you? Where do you come from? Why?
Yeah.
Who made you?
Yeah.
So we have a lot to talk about, and then we're gonna get to talking about your pizza sauce, your inspiration behind that, and fitness, but also some great stories as well. The first story we're gonna tackle is about the pre-diabetic crisis. 1 in 5 U.S. adolescents is now pre-diabetic. That's 12 to 18 years old. So that's 18% and 24% 19 to 34 years old, which is a little bit crazy. In the Journal of JAMA Pediatrics, this was published, and they also found that 1/3 of U.S. youth are overweight. And I found it a little surprising. Are you guys surprised by this? And in this space, you're in the food space. Have you seen these trends, and are you trying to combat them or work with them?
I'm actually shocked by that, honestly. I think also growing up in Los Angeles, it's a very health conscious place, and it has been for a very long time. Sorry, you guys might need to leave the room. My daughter just fell off the chair.
Oh no!
Papa's doing a terrible job of babysitting right now. Seriously, Dad? Anyways, speaking of children, I'm actually super shocked by that and saddened by that, and I'm wondering what we can do to combat that.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm actually not surprised. I think that LA is just a different kind of place, because I feel like whenever I leave LA, I'm swept back into that unhealthy eating place that I was in before I moved here.
Right.
And I think that school athletics aren't what they used to be. I know when I was in school, it was a thing to actually be a part of a sports team, but nowadays I think kids aren't exercising like they should be.
Yeah.
Even the school lunches aren't as healthy as I think they should be. And our past, Michelle Obama, I can't even think of the right words right now because that's how pissed I am about how unhealthy our kids are eating.
Right.
She really advocated for eating healthy for a lot of youth, but who's going to do that now? Like, we don't have enough advocates that are standing up and encouraging our youth to eat better.
100%. I completely agree. I remember being exhausted after PE, having to run a mile and just like wearing those awful PE uniforms and like I don't know,
with messages about being healthy. Like I felt like as a kid they were throwing all those healthy messages at us.
Right.
And you got graded. Like, we got graded. These kids don't even dress out for PE anymore.
Yeah, I do feel like just the attraction to electronics and we're all addicted right now. I mean, we all were just on our phones until the moment we got on
camera
right here. Like, no, we actually put these down. No, we don't. We're always on them. Even my daughter's actually like, she's kind of fed up with them. She's like, put down your phone, pay attention. And I think that is a big part of it. I think that people are spending way too much time indoors on electronics and not outside.
Yeah.
I just don't think people are going outside enough and getting enough exercise.
And I think, and not to be like a pizza girl, rah, but I think it's all the ingredients. And I think I love that you guys are using the organic ingredients. And I think that we haven't put a premium on that.
Yeah.
And now we're, and maybe in other places it might be more expensive to do so, or they're trying to negotiate that. But when you decided to go all organic with this, like, how did you make that decision? And did you find it to be much more expensive than going the other route?
It's way more expensive. Not just like sourcing the ingredients; they're harder to find, but also just getting that certification. And I was really pleasantly surprised that the certification actually does mean a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if it was just something you can pay for and like put it on your bottle, but it means a lot. It means that they check where you're sourcing your ingredients from. It means that you're not using any preservatives, and I do believe that a lot of the preservatives are what cause, cancers and all of just the fake food out there. You know what I mean? So it was very important to me, especially after I had my daughter, just thinking about what was going to go in her body. And that's when it really changed for me. And I was like, okay, I want to make sure that I feel confident that a, young child can eat my food and all my products. I'm going to continue to make sure that Pozza Girl, all of the products are, organic and as healthy as can be. There's no added sugar. There's super low sodium, just a little sea salt. So yeah, I think the food is really important.
Yeah, and I think that's the way kids should be eating, but that's the way they're not eating today.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, males are twice as likely to be pre-diabetic, 22.5% to 13.4% for girls. So it's an issue in the male community. We're big pizza fans as well, but I do think things like this definitely help. It's really ingredient based, and I think kids need to get that lesson. It's really about your diet, not necessarily physical activity.
Right.
I'm so sorry, guys. This is what happens when you bring your child and grandfather to school. All right, so you guys head on out, and I'll see you when I'm done.
But you know what? I'll say this. I think that's also telling of the brand that you've built, because you've built it on family.
Yeah.
So that hey guys, this just goes to show how invested she is, not only her family, but also in yours.
You're talking about 3 generations right
here. 3 generations.
It's true. My father, he started the whole thing, and he's super health conscious. He always has been.
Healthy before it was fashionable.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're going, and goodbye. Love you guys.
I love it. She's so cute, guys. Her daughter is absolutely
Isabella
adorable.
Viking, amazing. We got to have her back.
Oh, absolutely.
Our next story talks about the age people give up on working out, and surprisingly a very young age. And actually all the excuses we're going to go over that people have. But it was a one-poll survey about 2,000 adults, and the average age that people, when they claimed they're too old to work out, was 41. And I was like,
that's crazy.
Wait, what?
Yeah, that they felt they were too old to work out.
Oh my gosh, go away.
So I just turned 35, and
you look like you're 18.
Thank you.
Seriously.
Thank you. I love you.
It's like clean eating, guys.
It is, honestly, and I have actually kicked my working out into like such a high gear where I have some of my friends that are like, should I be worried about you? Like you're getting a little cray-cray with the working out. But I think the older you get, the more important it is.
Yeah.
So I'm just now getting like super into it.
And I'm sure it's a great stress reliever too.
Completely. And I have been under so much stress lately, you guys. It is insane. So my go-to mental health routine is I have this amazing app where I'm meditating with it in the morning. Actually, here.
What app is that? Let the viewers know.
You guys,
pick up our phones
incredible, and my therapist told me to get it. It's called Insight Timer.
Insight Timer.
Insight Timer.
Insight Timer.
Yes, and there's so many different meditations on there. One actually recently just made me cry because it was just about like you picture yourself walking through this waterfall, and once the water like washes over you, like so does all of the just the negativity, and it just like really takes you through it as long as you're willing to like give into it, So I wake up super early. It's crazy. I wake up at 5:30, 5 a.m. every morning. I go into a room where I'm alone and I do, one of these meditations. And you'll start to like find ones on the app that you like
Is it
really
free?
love.
Yeah.
I believe it's free. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it's free. And then, but the amount of different teachers and people who walk you through meditations, there's so many, and it's really super helpful. Different meditations for the way you feel that day, and so I'll do that, and then I have to work out. It's my new obsession. It changes my mood.
Yeah.
If I wake up with anxiety or stress or sadness, I know that like I hike Runyon a lot.
Yeah.
I know that like by the time I reach the top, just all of that anxiety is gone, and I can really truly like walk through my day just much more on a level. And also, I mean, I had to cut out alcohol.
Alcohol is a depressant too, and then like
it is. I'm sad about it too because I love my wine, but I'm going through a lot right now, and it was just one of the things where I was like, okay, mental health first. I'm a mother. I need to keep it together.
Because it can emotionally depress you, and then the next day it can set you back from your physical routine. So it sets you back from the things that make you feel better. So it kind of gives you the 1-2 punch.
It was actually annoying because I would drink, and then be hungover and still go work out. So I'd be like kind of proud of myself. I'm like, I still made it. But then I was like, but then I'm going to enjoy my workout so much better if I'm not hungover.
You know, honestly, I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how much of a depressant that a lot of these extracurricular activities are that we do until I cut it out for a month. And I started to see how I felt. You know, I think being entrepreneurs, being young people that follow our dreams, you know, there's such an added pressure, especially with social media. We compare our lives, and, you know, when you go home and you have that glass of wine or you have those little extracurricular activities, it just, I think it makes you focus on those problems more. So I think it's healthy just to take some time off and see how it affects your body and how it affects other areas of your life even more.
It affects so much, like just me feeling either, especially the holidays, people can feel sad or lonely. You're going through something, and then you drink a glass or two of wine, and then, you know, you do something that you may not have done out of sadness with that extra push, you know, like the drunk dialing. I'm the queen drunk dialer.
Sis.
Oh my God. I am the worst, you guys. I'm like, you don't love me. Why don't you love me? Love me. It's so awful. So I've definitely had to cut that out, for my just mental and physical, you know, health right now.
It can be those little stressors, though. It really can. And they were looking at this and all the different excuses. People said they were too late. They worked too late, so they couldn't make it to the gym. They were too tired, or they worked. They had too much work, or they were eating too much. Or even Netflix. Well, 15% of the respondents said Netflix kept them from going to the gym.
Oh, come on!
Listen, my biggest excuse is I can't get out the bed.
But I thought the working too much was, that was one of the larger amount of respondents. I thought that was interesting because I think people really do feel validated by that. So, I was wondering for you, like, how have you balanced that when you are working so much, and then you also have a child? How do you make it work?
So I do think that running your own company gives you a little bit of leeway on, you know, what times you're going to do things, because no, I don't have to be at my work at 9 a.m. and leave at, you know, during traffic. And I could see that being rough to, like, at the end of the day, you're tired from your workout, you know, but I think, I mean, from your day of working. So I think, but I work so much, you know, like I'm literally sometimes up at 5 a.m. at the factory by 9 after I've got my daughter to school. It's somewhere in between then and even going to either host an event or DJ until 2 in the morning. I'm going to make it to Runyon Canyon or a boxing class, which I just started doing, which is really fun, or my personal trainer, and just try to, you know, make it happen.
Was that a switch you had to turn on, or like how did you get to the point where you're like, no matter what the work day looks like, I'm going to make time for this?
I had to turn that switch on. You guys, I didn't work out for quite some time, and I was just like becoming, I'll always be skinny. I was just born that way. Honestly, I'm kind of one of those people that you hate because
same here.
Yeah, no matter what I eat, I stay skinny. I might have some sort of like a bug that lives inside me that eats everything because I do eat a lot, and it's annoying. But I was becoming skinny fat.
Yeah, you notice the body composition difference, though. You notice the feel of the body changes.
And it's very unhealthy.
Yeah.
It is. It's so unhealthy. And I just wanted to feel good from the inside out. So for me, working out and eating right is more important than basically than anything, honestly.
It forms the basis for
because
everything.
then if it's like that analogy of like putting the oxygen mask on yourself before you can, you know, help others. It's like, if I'm not mentally and physically the best I can be, how am I going to be that for my daughter, for my business, and for everybody that relies on me? So it's super important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Priorities.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we got to talk about our keto diet, and I'm wondering. So you always stay skinny, so I don't know if you're familiar with the keto diet. Do you know about the keto diet?
I know about the keto diet, and I've done tons of diets.
Yeah.
So I gained 60 pounds with my pregnancy, by the way, 60.
Was that like?
Yeah, that was my one time in life that I really dealt with it.
Did you go for it, or was that mentally jarring, or did you try to gain the weight because you felt like I can now?
You know, for me, I was a party girl my whole life, which everyone kind of knows about me. So there was a lot of like substance use and alcohol and things, you know, and smoking weed and different things like that. And then when I got pregnant, it wasn't all about me anymore.
Yeah.
And I was actually pissed. I was like, I can't have a glass of wine? Damn it. So I was pissed. And I was like, okay, I can't smoke weed. I can't have a glass of wine. Texas chocolate cake, you are my new best friend. You know what I mean?
So how did you like the weight though? Did you like the way it filled you out?
I hated it.
Oh.
You know, it physically, I was in pain. And I kind of see how people who gain a lot of weight are physically in pain. You know, and don't want to move. I didn't want to move. I wanted to sit, but then as I sat, I started to feel more pain. Like I think you mentioned about just like being stagnant, and if I were to get pregnant again, I would do it completely differently. I would stay healthy. I would work out. You know, I would make sure that I stayed physically like strong. You need your back to be strong, you know. And for me, I was more just not ready mentally to give it all up.
Yeah.
And change my ways completely. So I was kind of stubborn, and I went to sweets and food.
Yeah, and the thing with pregnancy is, if you are working out before you're pregnant, you can kind of you can work out throughout the pregnancy for the most part.
Oh,
absolutely.
Yeah, but it gets way harder, and almost you have to be careful if you go from sedentary to then working out.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And I was also scared of all the things people say, like carrying things, lifting things.
Yeah.
I didn't do enough research on like the proper, you know, ways to work out when you're pregnant. So I just gained a lot of weight.
Yeah, oddly enough, I got a lot of, when I got into the fitness industry, I had a lot of women that were pregnant asking me for advice. And so I had to just kind of like, I said, let me just learn about it and figure it out myself. And so I came across a lot of very interesting nuggets, but you wouldn't know unless you researched it.
100%. I remember my husband got me a treadmill for Christmas, and I was
Wait,
like...
while you were pregnant? Was it something you requested?
It was right after, and like honestly, it was like the worst gift on the planet, but also the best, because I could have my daughter like just sitting in her little mama room right there. I'm gonna get this weight off, and but also I'm like, a treadmill, you know?
What are you trying to tell me?
What are you trying to tell me?
What's
You know?
going on here?
Seriously.
I almost forgot this story, but in the Journal of Science Immunology, they found that the keto diet may cure the flu. They actually...
Interesting.
Yeah, they put mice on a keto diet, and the other mice were not on a keto diet, and they injected them with influenza. I was like, I don't know how I feel about this.
Mice go through the worst.
Yeah, I was like, I don't really know how I feel about this. But they did find that the ones that were on the keto diet had better responses to the virus and had lower counts. And so just wondering, what was the most effective diet that you found? Have you tried different diets too?
Honestly, for me, I went kind of liquid. I started just juicing a ton. I juiced a ton, and I just went vegan. I think veganism is honestly like the key to life, honestly. Like, I can't do it at all the time, don't get me wrong, but right now, I mean, I'm on 2 weeks vegan. I even made it through Thanksgiving vegan. Yeah.
Wow.
So, and that's hard being the pizza girl. You know what I mean? Because I love cheese, I love carbs, I love pepperoni on my pizza, you know?
Right.
So, I mean, I love it all. But if I could, I would say veganism is like key, and there's the unhealthy vegans that just lean towards, you know, all those like sodium fake meats.
Yeah, you can do it wrong.
You can do it so wrong.
Yeah.
Absolutely, junk food vegan, that's what they call it. And like so it's hard finding that, but if you can find that like balance, you know, like meatless Mondays, or like just I believe that balance is everything when it comes to, you know, just being healthy.
Yeah.
And I think for me, because I never went so far one way or the other, that it's kind of like been a balance for me. And I do know for a fact that my skinny situation beyond being hereditary is also that I've always eaten small portions. Almost like snacking. I snack all day, every day. I used to get in trouble by my grandmother when I was little because I couldn't sit down and eat the big meal. So I was stuck at the table all day long. I was like, my stomach's not big enough for this.
I can't do this.
I can't do it. Everybody else got to go watch 90210, and I was stuck at the dinner table. And but then I realized, like, I think that's a key to it, like small meals throughout the day, not just like these big giant meals that make you feel. Sometimes people think like being full, that feeling of like
I don't like
is
that.
like
I hate that.
is
It's
what
so
you're supposed
heavy
to feel.
and-
I like to leave the table still a tiny bit hungry. You know, not hungry, but like not You know?
Yeah.
And that part of me, that's kind of why, well, that's one of the perks of being vegan is I feel like you can actually overeat, but you never get that heavy feeling.
You don't.
And if you do, it's like
I
gone
agree.
very quickly,
I
you know?
agree.
But
I
you can
agree.
feel full, but not like,
I think typically when I feel heavy is when I eat the things I'm not supposed to.
Yeah.
You know, and then, like, for example, I cut out beef and pork, which I think were the primary things that were very heavy for me, but I have not cut out chicken.
Right.
Chicken or turkey.
Right. Oh, yeah.
So I still get that very heavy feeling. But one of the things that I have done is I've started to juice a lot. So it's one of the things that I do consistently in the morning, and I've seen the difference that it's made in my energy, the difference it's made in my skin, even with my tummy. I feel like when I started to cut out certain things, like my stomach is just naturally flat now, whereas before there was a little pudge, you know. But
because you get the nutrients, and then you also get
Exactly.
you get the natural sugars that keep you from getting the processed stuff and the other bad, like the cakes and the cookies later too.
right.
The most important thing is processed food. I mean, just don't eat that
Yeah,
anymore. I
if
mean,
you cut that out.
100% cut out really bad processed garbage.
Yeah.
Like you'll never find me at a fast food joint, no matter how drunk I am.
But that's the conversation we have to have with the rest of the world.
Right.
Because it's so easy just to go and get processed food when you're getting off work and you're picking up your kids. So it's like, okay, this is quick, this is easy. I don't have time to cook for you.
And you feel justified too.
You feel justified.
When
So how
you
do we make
mentioned
that unjustified?
traveling, sorry to interrupt, you mentioned earlier
Yeah.
traveling and how hard it is, and that's when it gets hard for me too. It's like it's fine when you're in
Yeah,
LA,
LA,
and you can go,
haven,
you know,
Right.
anywhere and get something awesome and healthy, but when you're traveling, I found it's so hard.
Yeah.
I was like angry. I ate nothing. I was like, okay, you know, carrots.
Do you have a travel prep now, or do you like?
So, I mean, I go in, I look for the salads. I don't use the dressing that they have. It's very kind of just boring.
Yeah,
you
well,
know?
you have your rules in place.
Yeah, but I have my rules in place, and you know, there's certain cities where you can find great food, obviously, but there's a lot of places where it's just like fast food.
Well, what about the airports? I mean, a lot of the
Airports are terrible.
Yeah, they don't provide a healthy option
At all.
You know, even on the plane.
I know.
You know.
Yeah.
So it's
Or
like, what do you
spend
do?
$1 million and like get the half somewhat healthy portion.
Maybe that's an
Yeah.
idea for someone, you know, develop healthy options and do it through the airport system. Just saying.
Well, I mean, I feel like the major
Good point.
airports, though, the major airports have some places now. But
Yeah.
But we got to talk about 2 weeks on the couch leading to damage on the body. And so I was actually a little bit surprised by this because they found that for average, healthy, active adults, that even 2 weeks of sedentary behavior can lead to waist circumference going up, your liver fat going up, your body fat going up, and insulin resistance in just 2 weeks. The flip side of this is that 2 more weeks of actual activity will reverse these exact same symptoms, or these outcomes. And this was a study presented at the European Association for the Study of Diabetes that met in Barcelona. But I was a little shocked by it, but also heartened by the fact that you can lose it quick, but you can get it back quick. And have you guys found this? And how do you keep from staying sedentary too long?
Well, just have a toddler in your house, and you're not going to be able to
That'll
be
do it,
sedentary
right?
too long. That's for sure. But I mean, I know that from when you're at the end of your pregnancy and you're just kind of laying there and you're in pain and everything's in pain, and I felt worse from sitting. You know what I mean? You feel worse, and I see a lot of these elder people now that are unfortunately, I think America is probably the worst when it comes to watching our elderly. Like, they get old so much faster here, and I think it's because of all the prescription medication that they're being put on. My own grandmother was on Oxycontin, and and it's for pain and things like that. But I do feel like that the medical world is not teaching people how to be healthy. They're just trying to give them some sort of medication to mask the pain, which is keeping them sitting, which is in turn making other things sicker.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at we've always heard about the Okinawa tribe in Japan. They're living to 110, because they're walking every day and they're eating, natural food that they're growing, and it's
because we give you pills to treat a symptom, but not the underlying cause.
Correct.
So we're going to treat the cholesterol, treat the high blood pressure, but if you were walking, then that would actually, cover everything.
Literally.
But,
and I did notice, you guys, before I've been going through a hard personal matter in my life, and I went straight to drinking wine and just trying to mask my feelings, and I ended up looking like shit. Can we cuss? Sorry.
Yeah.
Looking like shit, feeling like shit, and then I mentally was like, okay, I need to start working out. And it's been, you guys, 2 weeks, and I feel like I am the strongest, fastest. I'm like boxing like a gangster. I am tough. Like, I am strong. I'm doing running twice up the back way each time within a half an hour. Like, I'm like running up the canyon, a canyon that I used to like dread, you know, and that can happen fast.
Because you're getting what science is telling us. So this does treat depression. It does treat anxiety.
Yes. And on the flip side, it's so funny that you say that, because on the flip side, I'll say this: I'm the percentage of Americans that do the complete opposite. So when I'm going through, and that's a habit that I need to pick up. When I'm going through something, I shut down, you know, and it's like, before I was going through something, I had this great workout routine, and then something happens, and I'm like depressed and in my house, and it doesn't help anything.
Makes it
so I need to develop that habit of getting out there, working out, and working through the pressure.
Because that routine is your mental health. That routine is sort of what's building up everything else. Like, you got to be good to yourself before you can help others as well.
Right.
Honestly, I have never been more. I'm normally like a genuinely super happy-go-lucky person. I've had some hard times in the past, you know, year where I've never been more depressed, and I do see why. And, you know, I do believe that, like, social media is a serious like, it can seriously take you down. But just know out there that people are only posting the very magical moment in their day or in their month. And sometimes they don't post it until it's been completely, like, reorganized and, like, edited and, like, you know what I mean? Like,
course,
it's bullshit.
You're seeing people's highlight reel,
Yeah, their highlight reel. And it's like, I had to get myself off of Instagram. I had to get myself back into, like, society and, like, speaking to people and having, like, actual human interactions.
It's important. It's so
because
important.
I was getting so depressed, really depressed. And I went to a dark place. And the only thing that made me stronger and better was healthy food, healthy diet, and getting the fuck off the internet.
Yeah.
You know? Like,
It'll do it. Social media is a killer.
Every time.
But it can help
Every
too.
time.
So it's like also like
you have to use it as a business tool. It is not where you should speak to your friends every day, call them up on the phone, go out to dinner,
or if you
put
do
your phone
it, like,
away.
or be targeted. Like, I know some people that are very, like, I'm on there for my support group. So, you know, they're all, like, losing weight together, and they go on there to check in. So if you're going to use it, I think that's the best way to use it, is to make sure it's targeted towards your particular emotional or lifestyle need.
Right, like the insight timer from a meditation. Like that is totally understandable.
Because you can actually set timers on how long you want your social media to be up. Like, my timer is like 4 hours a day. That's
my phone started reminding me, and I'm like, ignore it.
Think about 4 hours a day.
Which is still a lot.
On Instagram?
Yeah, it's still a lot.
That's a lot. If you add that up throughout, like,
and what were you doing before that?
And I'm sure that I've done that, and I don't want to do that anymore.
Like, what were adults like 20 years ago doing? Like, they were probably more productive or less. I don't know.
Right.
It makes you wonder.
It does.
Yeah, look, I'm being FaceTimed right now.
But I wanted to talk a little bit more about Pozza Girl and how this whole thing arose. Got to meet your father. That was awesome.
Yeah.
So he started the D'Amore Pizzeria, and then you decided to go down with the pizza sauces.
Yeah, you know, I watched my dad struggle in the restaurant business for 30 years. He has done it amazing with absolutely nothing and no help from anyone. And what he has done is just beyond. But the restaurant business is a nightmare business. I don't recommend it to anybody who wants a happy life. It is, and he's managed to stay like a nice, positive, you know, amazing human, which is magical. But I did it for 5 years, and, like, literally, I mean, I'm getting a divorce. Like, that's what I'm going through, and it all happens from, you know, just the stress of a restaurant is really, it's taxing on people, you know. Not saying that, you know, don't get a restaurant, you're going to get a divorce, but I'm just saying it's definitely rough. You know what I mean? So I watched that, and I did it for a few years, and then I was like, there's got to be something out there that I can control, because with the restaurant business, you know, it's my dad's, it's now his wife's, and it's anytime I wanted to do something special for the business, like update the logo that's from the 80s, you know, like, how dare I try to mess with it, you know? So, or teach them about social media. Like that was just, he's like, what are you talking about? You gotta like what does that mean?
Old
Do they
school,
come in
old
the store
school.
and buy something? Like he just did
right.
not care or like it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna start something that I can control.
Yeah.
And every time, a cook showed up wasted and ruined, our busiest day of the year, like Super Bowl Sunday that happened,
Yeah.
I was like in the back trying to make pizzas. It was just a nightmare. I was like, with this is something where I can bring the same great taste and quality to all of America eventually. We're not there yet, but eventually, and make sure that it's, recipes that came from our family line, and keep it organic and just the best ingredients. And my daughter eats it right out of the jar.
Love it.
And that's actually how I got into a bunch of supermarkets. They just opened the jar, took a spoon. The head of Bristol Farms, who actually created the sauce for the Bristol Farms line, he just literally took it at his desk, and I was like, who's gonna eat sauce out of a jar and like it? He was blown away. So I was like, okay, I have something here.
This is the real deal. 'Cause your dad is Italian. It's not just Amore because it's an Italian name. This is like the real.
No, I mean, that's the beauty of it. I grew up in the restaurant business and in the kitchen my whole life. So this product has a lot of family history, and it has so much passion and love behind it because it's my baby, it's Pizza Girl, and it's all for my daughter, and it's for all the young kids and growing up. And I want people to be able to have this in their cupboard when they don't know what to make for their kids one night, and they're running late, like you said, and they need to put something together real quick. And this is actually a healthy. People think pasta, and they think, oh my God, that's fattening, right, or bad for you. You put this sauce on
anything, really.
Actually, go get Jovial. I think that's how they say it. Jovial noodles. They are the best gluten-free noodles I've ever had. They're made out of their rice pasta.
Okay.
They're al dente. They're delicious. A couple of those in your cupboard with some Pizza Girl sauce, and
Yeah, I love the ingredients because again, they're all organic, but you have organic garlic in there, and like garlic is something I like to have every single day because of the antiviral effects, antibacterial, anti-inflammation. And so when I look at foods, I look at them from a medicinal aspect. Like, what am I going to get in there that's going to be able to treat me inflammation-wise and all that jazz? And I love it because it's got all those things in there.
Absolutely, and nothing you can't read on the label, you guys. I mean,
I love it.
Every single thing is something that is, found in a garden.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm obviously the hungriest one here. How do I get a jar? Like, how do I?
So easily now. Okay. Well, if you're living in California, California. I mean, we're stretching pretty far all over, but we're in Bristol Farms. Thank you, Bristol Farms. You were my first supermarket. It gave me a chance. We're in all the Erewhons. We're in all the Gelsons. We just got picked up by Whole Foods.
Nice.
So I still have yet to have even found one investor for my company or tried to do that yet. Yeah. So I've self-funded the project so far. So I haven't been able to scale yet. Yeah. But what I did was I got on Amazon. Yeah. So now straight from my factory, people all over the country can order on Amazon.
Nice. And we missed Black Friday. Do we miss a Black Friday deal?
You did.
Oh, no.
You did.
Why?
Yeah. Black Friday deal. Yeah, and it's cool. I mean, the response to it on Amazon is kind of crazy. They have like 1,000 and something different sauces on there, and we were immediately like number 10.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So I haven't tried the sauce yet, so I can't wait to try the sauce.
I know, I can't
wait to hear what you think.
I'm giving the real deal when I do try it. So
Please
it better be
do.
good.
You better post, you better tag.
You got it.
I have not heard one negative thing. I think there's one Amazon lady who said it was too fattening, which is crazy. Yeah, which is crazy. And I think it's because, and we looked at all of her comments, and she says that about everything. So I don't know what she's eating.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's only 2 grams of carbohydrates.
Yeah, there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing bad in it. So, but other than that, it's been all positive. And yeah, I mean, people are loving it. Yeah, we just got on, Poosh, Kourtney Kardashian's web.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, so they just named us the pick of the week, and they do only organic, amazing products like that.
Yeah, and it's locally sourced, you said?
Yep, all locally sourced ingredients and USDA organic. You guys, that was so hard for me to get.
And because I feel like some people say organic, but then only like most of the ingredients are organic, but there's some that aren't. But every ingredient's organic in this.
Every single ingredient is organic. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, there's something that we like to do here called the Fit Club 5.
Yo, stop.
Yeah, so we ask you 5 rapid fire questions, and you just say what comes to your mind at first. So
I'm such a bad test taker.
You're gonna do just fine, honey. Okay. All right. You got the music going?
I'm nervous.
Don't be nervous. Okay.
You got it? Go.
I like the music.
Oh, she was like,
I know,
she's
I'm jamming out right now. I feel like I'm like,
Okay, all right. So who was the last person that you text?
ooh.
She's like, no.
That's terrible.
Was it your dad?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
I was like,
It was my
just
dad.
walked out the room.
It was.
All right. Who is your dream dinner guest?
Alive or dead?
Exactly. Either one.
Oh, ever. Ooh. You guys, I told you I'm so bad at this. Dream dinner guest. Mrs. Fields.
Interesting.
Elaboration?
I can elaborate? Okay.
Yeah.
It's not just like a fast thing. Okay, Mrs.
Yeah.
Fields, because she was a woman-run, business who created this company based off these cookies and
Mrs.
like
Fields.
Mrs. Fields.
Yeah, Mrs. Fields.
I know,
Yeah.
like elementary school teacher.
Again,
He's like,
I know
who
my
is
sweets.
Mrs. Fields? Oh, sorry. Okay, yeah. So Mrs. Fields, because she literally did what I did so long ago, what I'm trying to do
yeah.
so long ago, and I just want to pick her brain about how she did that.
Oh, that's
That's a great
awesome.
answer.
Yeah.
I love
Wow.
that.
Thank
Okay,
you.
all right.
Yeah,
All right, that's
okay.
since we're talking about food.
Yeah.
What was your last meal?
Crossroads is
Oh.
my favorite vegan
Oh.
restaurant.
So good.
And I'm trying to remember exactly what it was, but it was, some creation that
Like vegan
tasted-
clams or
Of
like
Yeah. Yeah, they do the oysters that are so good.
All vegan,
All
yeah.
vegan, so good, yeah.
Now, do you have like a healthy junk food? Because that's my next question for you. What's your fave junk food?
Healthy or not healthy, whatever your favorite.
Yeah, whatever
food
it is.
That's hard, yeah. Well, always pizza.
Yeah.
And it's not junk food when you get it from Demore's Pizza.
There you go.
That's
So
a ticket.
you go to Demore's Pizza here in Los Angeles, eat as much as you want. You're not going to feel like crap.
All right.
Yeah,
We're going to
that's
have to
my
have
favorite.
a Demore's pizza date.
Yes,
You
right.
have to.
Let me
Yeah.
know. All right. If you were on death row, what would be your last meal?
Without a doubt, a giant Demore's Pizza.
But what's on it? Yeah.
Okay, what is on it? Pepperoni and jalapenos, and then a bowl of, Pizza Girl vodka sauce on a penne noodle.
Oh, that's awesome.
And sayonara.
And I'm out.
Wow, great answers.
Thank you. I survived.
So what? Yeah. So is that's your favorite pizza? Is that jalapenos, pepperoni?
It's my go-to. You know
Yeah.
why? Because I like a little bit of the, I love spicy. I'm a spicy
Yeah,
food fanatic.
big time, yeah.
So that's
You
really-
too?
But
Yeah,
I
I
also
love
love the
spicy
tomato
food, yeah.
basil if I just want something crisp.
That sounds
like
delish.
crisp and fresh. Yeah.
Do you have any like quirky pizza creations?
I've done this one where we make potato chips out of a potato, like
Yeah.
fresh potato chips, and we, throw them in the fryer. And then we do like a potato chip pizza with bell peppers and feta cheese.
Mm-hmm.
It is incredible.
Wow.
Yeah, it is
Sounds
so
incredible.
good.
Yeah.
We called it the Munchie Pizza during 420.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds
Yeah.
interesting.
But
Wow.
it's all homemade and
Yeah.
there's nothing bad in it, It's like
Organic, made from scratch.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, it's delicious. I love making chips at home. And I was like, let's put these on a pizza. Clearly, I had smoked some weed that day. It was 420.
I was like, you can only
But
come
you-
up with an idea like that while you're
But
high.
you're inspired and creative.
I was,
Yeah.
and so I brought it into the restaurant, and then people were like, "Can I get the munchie pizza?" And like, yeah, because you've seen people do like French fries on pizza
Yeah.
and like crazy
Mhm.
stuff, and I was like, a little crisp.
Yeah, I want to step this up.
Let me
Yeah.
Right.
step this up. It was delicious.
Oh, that sounds
So just
so
veganize
good.
it. Next time, you got to bring one in to the
Oh
studio.
yeah, just
so,
really
yeah.
instead I would just put a little like vegan cheese on there. We have a really great gluten-free crust at
Yeah.
Demore's. It's incredible, and I do that when I'm feeling like when I'm being a vegan.
Yeah.
For the few weeks that I go back and forth. I do an extra sauce
Yeah.
with grilled veggies
Yeah.
and like a tiny bit of the vegan cheese. Not a lot,
Oh,
but just
nice.
a tiny bit, and it's so good. Because we do like whole garlic cloves roasted.
We're gonna have to do
Oh
like a
my
Fit Club
gosh,
on site.
please
We're gonna do
stop
like
it
a on
now.
location Fit Club on
I
location
should have
coming
brought
to you
food.
guys.
Normally, I'm literally the girl that brings food everywhere. That's why they call me the
No,
pizza girl.
you might be. We'll do our first on location segment. Demoria's Pizza.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
We'll get
Please
it
invite
done.
me for that, Shaka.
Well, we gotta thank you so much for joining us. This was incredible.
Thank you so much for having me. You
Yes.
guys rock.
Yeah, and Isabella Viking, you know, shout out to Isabella.
Right? And your
She is-
transparency. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah, you
so
got
honest,
it.
so transparent.
Yeah,
Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you guys for joining us. As always, you guys can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat at Shaka Strong. Where can they find you, Candy?
You guys can find me on Instagram at Miss Candy Marie and on Twitter at Sweet Candor TV.
And Mr. Moray, talk to the people.
You can find me at Caroline Demore on Instagram, and you can find my company at Pizza Girl Official on Instagram.
We'll see you guys next week.
On behalf of our BHL staff, we would like to thank you for tuning in to Black Hollywood Live, the world's first digital broadcast network devoted entirely to urban entertainment and pop culture. Check out our Black Hollywood Live YouTube page for even more great programming and amazing content, and be sure to subscribe and like our channel when you do. I'm your BHL host, Nakia Monet, and you can find me on all social media at Kiki Boom Boom or at Black Hollywood Live. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood redefined.